Director Clapper, I believe you've previously testified that the re-engagement rate from those who have been released from Guantanamo Bay was 27%. What is the current re-engagement rate of terrorists who have been released from Guantanamo, and has it gone up again from the 27%?
I think the next assessment will reflect a very small, less than a percentage point increase.
So the next assessment will reflect perhaps a percentage increase, so from 27% to 28%?
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Certainly, anyone being released from there and getting back in to fight our soldiers is one too many, isn't it?
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about, there's been reports from the administration about the potential of exchanging, and I asked Secretary Panetta about this the other day, of 5 detainees to Qatar in exchange for gestures of goodwill from the Taliban in Afghanistan. As I understand these 5 detainees that have been reported by both the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal, they have been previously assessed by the administration in 2010 to present a high risk of returning to the fight. Has the designation for these 5 detainees changed by the administration?
No, ma'am, they have not. And I hasten to add that, of course, negotiations have always been a part of any winding down of combat hostilities, and that's the case here. This is a case of exploring the option to see what sort of reaction we might get from the Taliban. But a couple points I would make here is that I don't think anyone harbors any illusions about these 5 Taliban members and what they might do if they were transferred. Part and parcel of this discussion would be their transfer to a third country such as Qatar, and then the conditions under which they would be surveilled and monitored. I'd also want to add that under the provisions of the National Defense Authorization Act of FY12, Secretary of Defense has to certify his view on whether or not anyone could be transferred with respect to their recidivism. And I can tell you from personal encounters with Secretary Panetta, he treats that authority with the gravity that it deserves. So this is something I think the administration will do very deliberately.
Well, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate what the Secretary had to say about his responsibilities the other day, and I know that he takes these very seriously. But I want people to understand very clearly, these individuals were designated by the administration in 2010 to be high risk. Nothing's changed about that assessment. And the notion that we can monitor them or surveil them, we've tried that in the past with releasing people that have come from Guantanamo terrorists to third-party countries with a now we think may go up to a 20% re-engagement rate. For what I understand the administration has described as goodwill from the Taliban. I think this is an unacceptable risk. I think that unless we're going to get them to lay down their arms, I don't know why we would do this to our military men and women and to our allies. So I appreciate what you're saying. I just see this as a huge risk in terms of safety for our troops and our allies.